Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to dive into something a little bit different but really exciting. So if that's something you're interested in watching, you're in the right place. We're about to get into it.
I'm a lone wolf. I'm a lone wolf. I'm a lone wolf. I'm a lone wolf. I'm a lone wolf.
All right, you guys, so I first saw UOMA Beauty on the Ulta website. This brand kind of came out of nowhere for me. I had no idea that they were around or that they were launching. I did not see a lot of fanfare on social media like most marketing campaigns do. I just started seeing a couple of their products pop up under the new arrivals tab on the Ulta Beauty website. So of course I got very curious and I headed over to the UOMA Beauty website and started doing some research on the brand and very quickly got very excited. So let's talk a little bit about the brand itself. Now the CEO is a Nigerian-born female, so this is not only a black-owned brand, but it's also a female-owned brand. And the name of the CEO is Sharon Chutter. She is actually been listed as one of the 50 most forward-thinking executives shaping the future of the beauty industry in 2018. Now, she is not only the CEO, but also the creative director of UOMA Beauty. She has taken a very hands-on approach when it comes to the brand itself because she has so much experience in the industry itself. She has worked with brands like Revlon, L'Oreal, GSK, and most recently Benefit Cosmetics. So she is a wealth of knowledge. Now, her backstory obviously is that she wanted to create a brand that was incredibly inclusive. We all know that there are some issues when it comes to inclusivity in the beauty industry. But that's not anything really new, to be honest with you. There are a lot of brands that have come out more recently that are genuinely catering to being more inclusive, in particular females of color or women of color. And I thought at first that this was just one of many that have launched recently, but there are several things that genuinely set UOMA Beauty apart from any other brand that I've ever looked at. So UOMA Beauty has really worked on looking at individuals, and not only individuals as far as their skin tone and their undertones, but also their needs from a cultural perspective, from a skincare perspective, and they've interwoven those needs throughout this brand. Let me explain. So UOMA Beauty has come up with a system, in particular when it comes to their complexion products, that divides up shades. And you have deep dark all the way to very, very light. Now, they call these individual groups that they have divided these shades up into your skin kin. So you need to find your skin kin on the website and find out what category you fit in. I'll show you what the skin kin looks like here. So this is a new way to find your perfect match. There's 6 skin color groups that share very similar characteristics and very similar skincare needs. So at UOMA Beauty, they call those groups skin families or skin kins. So everybody is going to fall into one of these categories. And they've built their complexion products not only around what that category's specific tones and undertones look like, but also what that category's overall skincare needs tend to be. So let me show you how they're breaking down these skin kin groups. Let's start with Black Pearl, for example. So this is a collection that is specially formulated for dark brown skin, which is very high in melanin. The most common skin concerns is dullness. The most common skin type is like an oily combination skin type. So the formulation of this particular collection is created with tomato extract, which is known to brighten up dull skin hydration, help with radiance, and it's also why the foundation itself, not only does it ensure hydration, but it helps to control oil production as well. They have a lot of different extracts included in the skincare for this particular group that fits this particular group's needs. I think this philosophy is absolutely incredible. There's another group that's called Fair Lady. Now, the Fair Lady group is going to be for people with fair skin. So this one is really centered around biggest skin concern being premature aging and the most common skin type being dry/combination. Now, the Fair Lady formulation is created with Angelico grape. It's just a kind of grape extract which is known to induce hyaluronic acid synthesis, stimulate collagen, and improve your own cell detoxification. So if you're noticing, each group has specific ingredients that are catering to that specific group and what that specific group's skin concerns tend to be on an overall basis. So I've heard some mixed feedback about this classification system. This is not something that is, just saying, oh, how can you say that everybody with fair skin has sensitive skin? I don't think that the brand is saying that. I think that they're saying that most people that have very fair skin also tend to deal with these certain issues. So if they can help offset some of those issues, then that is fantastic. Now, I will say that all of the ingredients that have been included in here, so for example, if I were to use the foundation in the Black Pearl group, it would just be a foundation that is really meant to help control oil, and it would probably honestly be a little bit too drying for me. So, and I get that, and I love the fact that that foundation is specifically made for a group of people that has that concern. So in other words, it's not just one foundation formula that's meant to be marketed to everybody. So for example, Beauty Bakery, this is a great example. The Beauty Bakery is a Black-owned brand, and her foundation is a very matte formula. Now, her color shade range is incredibly inclusive. There is a shade range in the Beauty Bakery foundation for everyone. But you can tell that the formulation there is a very matte, very oil controlling formulation, which is going to be a great formula for people that tend to be a little bit more on the oily side. But for someone that tends to be a little bit more dry, sometimes combination, that formula is really difficult to work with because it's so matte. So the formula itself doesn't necessarily fit everyone. And there are a lot of formulas out there like that. There are a ton of Korean formulations that are natural and glowing, and they look stunning on the skin. But on any woman of color, that foundation is breaking down in 2 seconds flat. So while they adjust the shade to maybe match a woman of color, it still doesn't fix the formula. The formula itself is not going to work on a woman of color that has a high amount of melanin in her skin that might be a little bit more oily. That foundation is still not going to go over well on her skin type. So I think the genius behind this particular brand is that they didn't just come out with one formula and then just 50 different shades. They came out with different formulations for each shade group, making sure that they did their very best to try and have a perfect foundation for each individual category. And I think that that is amazing. I think that's amazing. So let's talk about my category. So I fell in the Fair Lady category, and the category that I fell into was T3N. So in the Fair Lady category, there are 3 different undertones that I can choose from. There is warm, there's cool, and there's neutral. Now, in each of those categories, I have 3 choices within the Fair Lady line. So within my group, I basically have 9 choices. I can do cool in like a light, a medium, or a darker shade. I can do neutral in like a lighter, a medium, or a darker shade. And I can do cool in either a light, a medium, or a darker shade. So I chose to go with T3N. So I went with the neutral in the Fair Lady group, and I went with the third one up. So not the lightest, not the mediumest, but the darkest one in my group. So I went with T3N, and I love the way that she has set these groups up. So each group, you have 3 undertones, and then you find your undertone, and then you have like 3 choices to choose from. You can get either a lighter one, a darker one, or, you know, whichever shade you feel like matches you within your group. So it's not like you find your group, you have just a cool, a neutral, and a warm one to choose from. You have those undertones, but you also have 9 foundations to choose from. You have 3 in each category to choose from to match yourself, and I think that is brilliant. I actually have this on my skin tonight. I think she has nailed the undertones. This has a beautiful neutral undertone to it. It was very easy just to look at the website and figure out what my match was going to be. It showed up and it was my match. I love that when it's super easy and they really understand undertone. So let's actually get into application of this product. I want you guys to see how this applied. So I actually went in half with a brush and half with a beauty blender because I really wanted to see how this was going to apply. And to be honest with you guys, I liked the way that it applied with a sponge better. I just felt like the sponge gave me beautiful coverage. Now, I will say that in my particular category, the things that I'm concerned with, according to UOMA Beauty, is that I'm concerned with premature aging, which is true, and the most common skin type in this category is either dry or dry/combination skin, which again is true. I have combination skin. So I have grape extract in this foundation, which is supposed to induce hyaluronic acid synthesis and stimulate collagen production and help improve cell detoxification. So one thing I was worried about, because this is classified as a matte foundation, was that this was going to be too drying for me. But because of the addition of that extract, I feel like even though it is a matte foundation, you still don't get that really kind of crusty matte feel when you apply this foundation to the face. So a couple of things to notice. Number one, there are pigments in here that do a great job of mimicking your skin to give you a very skin-like finish. Number two, it is not overly drying, which I was worried about. Number three, this is a matte finish that does give you some blurring effect to the skin. So it does a lot with pores, fine lines and wrinkles. It is adjustable coverage. You can build it up to a little bit more of full coverage, but in my opinion, I think it's a full coverage foundation. And this is very long lasting. I did a wear test with this, and I pushed it all the way up to the 11-hour mark. And around that 11-hour mark, I just noticed my forehead, nose, chin, the typical places where foundation wears off. This foundation really passed the longevity mark as well. So application was beautiful. I liked it again better with a sponge, just because for me, I like the added hydration that a damp sponge kind of pounces into my face, just because I'm kind of all about that hydration. But because this is a velvet matte foundation, again, I was worried this was going to be overly drying, but it's not. One thing I will say is I didn't set this foundation. I only set my under eyes. I didn't set my face, and when I wore this foundation over the course of the last 2 weeks, I only set my under eyes. I didn't set my face, and that's because you don't need to set this foundation. One of the things that I love about this foundation is that it's self-setting, so it sets down to a beautiful matte finish, but it's not a finish that still feels like you need to put powder on it, you know what I'm saying, where it's like a little like sticky and you feel like you're walking around with foundation that hasn't been set. It feels like you have set your foundation. But more importantly, you can put product on top of it, like my normal blush, my normal highlight, my normal bronzer. I can put all of that product on top of it, and my product performs beautifully on top of it. It performs just as if I had set my face with powder. It just blends smooth, and I didn't have any issues with it at all. I love that. I love a foundation that allows me to just wear a nice thin layer of the foundation and not have to powder my face, and I still get a really pretty natural matte finish. I'm a huge fan of this foundation. I think this stuff is stunning. Now, it's been made very clear on the website that each foundation has different extracts in it. So if you happen to fall into the Fair Lady range, this foundation is gorgeous. But if I had to guess, you guys, this probably says a lot to the formulation overall as a whole, because at the end of the day, the base formula is going to be the same. They're just adding different extracts in depending on what skincare concerns you have. So I think it's just the skincare benefits that are going to differ. If I had to guess, the base formulation is probably the same. Vegan, cruelty-free, talc-free, so there's no talc in this foundation either. Fragrance-free, so it's free of everything, and it's got some good for you ingredients in it as well. This also retails for $39. You do get 1 full fluid ounce. Considering what this foundation does, I am 100% a fan. You also get a 12-month shelf life with this as well, so this bottle will last you quite a while. I love the component itself. It has a pump, nice frosted glass, beautiful design. This foundation is a win. Absolutely Erika approved. Next up in my collection is the concealer. Now, this is called the Stay Woke Concealer. A couple of things about this concealer. Number one, the shade that I got was a little too light. I didn't realize how brightening this concealer is. So this is a brightening concealer. This concealer really brightens up the under eyes. I do have it on tonight. Now, because this is probably about a shade, maybe even a shade and a half too light for me, I was like, whoa, when I first put it on. But one thing that I noticed is that when I first put it on, and I'll show you guys what I mean here. When I first put it on, I was like, oh my gosh, this is like 4 shades too light for me. And I was really shocked because this was in my skin kin range of the type of concealer they thought that I would need. But it's just because this concealer has so much brightening pigments in it that it makes it look very, very light. Because once I set it with powder, then it really just melted into the skin, and it didn't look like I had just put white paint underneath my eyes. So because it's still a little too light for me though, so I still need to go up a shade, and that's fine, I can. But having said that, I think just don't be shocked if you get this concealer and you first put it underneath your eyes and you're like, whoa, there is a brightening effect to this concealer that is unbelievable. It really does just knock out dark circles, any kind of contours that cause shadows. If you have deep tear troughs that drive you crazy, if you have bags underneath the eyes and you have shadows underneath there that contribute a lot to the perception of having dark circles, even though it may not be pigmentation, a concealer like this will go a long way. Another thing I really like about this concealer is the amount of actual color pigment. It is really high coverage. It also is one of those, a little bit goes a long way. You can put a pretty generous amount underneath the eye, and then I like to go in with a brush and then pat it out with a sponge. But a lot of people don't like their concealers sheared out that much. If you like a more full coverage, then just do like a couple of dots and just pat it out with your finger, and you'll have really, really high coverage from this particular concealer. This concealer is not a drying concealer. I will say this. when I set this concealer, like if I can't bake with this concealer. If I bake with this concealer, it does get very drying underneath here and my fine lines and wrinkles show up. I can take a very light amount of powder and just dust it underneath the eyes and I'm fine. I can also just not set it. It's also really, really good to just not set it with powder, provided that you have your right shade range. I can't use this one without setting it because it's so bright and it's so light. I need to take the powder on just to kind of tamp it down just a little bit. But the brightening power of this concealer alone is phenomenal. Now they're saying that this is like a satin radiant finish. I will definitely agree with the radiant because it's so brightening. The satin finish, I would say yes. It's more of, I would call it like a satin matte kind of finish because to me, I do feel like it has kind of that matte feel to it, but it is very radiant. It's an interesting formula. It's definitely something I think is worth checking out. This one I would recommend if they ever carry it in store at Ulta, you might want to actually go in and play around with it a little bit because even though this looks like it would be your skin tone, because it's so brightening, you might have to go maybe a little darker than you normally would. But again, that's just going to be a matter of preference as well. But overall, as far as performance goes, it's a beautiful concealer. It performs well, it lasts a long time, and it looks beautiful on, and the brightening aspect of it is insane. I think that's really, really neat, and I can't wait to get a shade that's just a little bit darker and try that out and see how it works. You do get 5 mils of product in here for $25, which is more than some more popular concealers that have come out recently. So you do get a good amount of product in here as well. I love the applicator. It is one of those big, nice doe foot applicators. So overall, this one was a win for me, especially if you're dealing with dark circles and you're looking for a brightening concealer. You're really gonna like this concealer. All right, guys, next up is possibly one of my favorite products that I tried with this brand, and that is one of their eyeshadow palettes. Now, of course, the one that I chose is called Allure. They have their eyeshadow palette in 3 different colorways right now. I picked Allure because the colors in it really spoke to me. So when you first open this, you actually get one of those little plastic inserts that I always keep and use them as palettes for different things, but it actually has the UOMA name here on it, which I think is really, really cool, and it's one of those really thick ones, so I like that. But the palette itself has a beautiful mirror here, and then of course look at these colors. These colors are gorgeous. I'll give you guys a close-up of it here. So UOMA says to unleash the goddess within with the hypnotic, high-octane, high-impact, highly pigmented UOMA Beauty Black Magic Color Palette. This versatile color palette is a combination of the most pigmented matte colors, otherworldly sparkle textures, and vibrant metallic textures and finishes. Rich textures transform into an ultra thin, full colored film on the skin, which is long lasting and water resistant. So these are really highly pigmented formulas, you guys. They are long lasting. They claim that they're water resistant. My eyes do water a lot, so I like the fact that they're water resistant. They're very lightweight. And again, you're talking about something that's been formulated without parabens, fragrance, it's cruelty free, etc. And it also comes with a mirror. You guys, this palette is stunning. I actually have it on my eyes tonight. I'm going to show you guys how I created this look. But first, let's get into some swatches because I really want you guys, especially these sparkling shades in here, the mattes, don't get me wrong, beautiful formulation, they look gorgeous, but these shimmer metallic finishes in here they're amazing. So let's get into some swatches here. So I'm going to lay the mattes down for you first because I do want you to see how pigmented these mattes are. They are stunning. These are not easy shades to pull off. And what I like about them is they're not so incredibly pigmented that you have to sheer them out when you put them on your eyes. They're a very light amount of pigment, enough so that you can work in light layers and build it up to the intensity that you want. I love that about a matte, and these fit that bill. Now, when it comes to the shimmer shades, you guys, the base of these shimmer shades is what is so interesting to me. So especially when it comes to the green, and when it comes to this certain gold that has like this purple reflect to it when you turn it to the side, but when you look at it straight on, it's gold. And the yellow, and even that topper, I mean, all of these are just very different, very unique, incredibly beautiful shades, and they look stunning on the eye. Now, the glitter itself is this very finely milled glitter. It catches the light in such a way. I haven't really seen a glitter or a sparkle quite like it, and I'm really interested in the formula. I really researched the formula itself when it came to these metallics and these shimmer shades, just to see what that sparkle was coming from. And it has to be in the way that the sparkle itself is cut, in the way that it's catching the light. I'm not really sure, because the ingredients themselves don't look like anything super different or anything that I haven't seen in an eyeshadow palette before. But the sparkle, you guys, and I know it's probably not showing up on camera very well, but the shimmer and the sparkle that comes off of these glitters, you guys, is stunning. It is one of the most beautiful glitter type of eyeshadows that I've ever worked with. Now, I like these glitters a lot because when you put them on the eye, they stay on the eye, and you don't end up with glitter kind of fluffing everywhere all over your face. So I love that about the glitters themselves. I love the fact that the glitter will look like this. Like, I've had this on since about 2 o'clock this afternoon. It is now almost midnight, so we're filming late at night. So I've had this on for quite a while, and you guys can see it's just as pigmented, just as intense as it was when I first put it on. So I love that about these shadows. I am a huge fan of these palettes. Application was a dream. They all applied really, really well. I will say, for the glitters, I did like using more of a traditional applicator. So for those of you guys that don't ever use these, or that throw these away, I think you should not. I think you should keep these. Any kind of a sponge tip applicator, I buy these by the pack a lot of times. I also have a long sponge tip applicator that's part of a brush set that I bought that I love to use as well. These little sponge tip applicators work really, really good when it comes to glitters like that, if you're not going to use your fingers. So when it comes to working with the glitters in this palette, I really loved using a sponge tip applicator. So just note to self on that. Other than that, you guys, they blend it out beautifully. They last a really long time. Huge fan of these palettes. Absolutely Erika approved. Next up is, again, another favorite that I tried out of this brand. Honestly, you guys, there was not one dud out of anything that I tried in this brand, which is why I'm so excited about this brand. So this is their lipstick. Now, this is their Badass Icon lipstick. Now, they do have a couple of different formulations. They have liquid lipstick, they have gloss, they have metallic. I wanted to go with a very traditional, what they call a Badass Matte lipstick, and that's what I chose, was the Badass Matte lipstick. I actually have it on my lips tonight, and you guys, I love this lipstick. Once I got the Huda Beauty lipstick that you guys saw in my April favorites, I honestly didn't think I would find a lipstick that I loved more than the Huda Beauty. I've carried that Huda Beauty around with me in my purse for the entire month of April. When this package showed up a couple of weeks ago and I tried this on for the first time, I haven't worn anything since. I think this color for me is perfect. I love this color. You guys probably see me wearing a color very similar to this in just about every video that I've done. This is a very Erika color, but it's not just that the color is spot on and gorgeous, but it's the formula. So I can put this on and this will stay like this all day long. You guys see I've been talking all the way through this video. I haven't had to stop and reapply. Usually by the end of a video, my lipstick will be gone because I've talked so much. it doesn't matter with this lipstick. You put it on and it stays on. It's a matte formula that's incredibly comfortable. Again, with the skincare extracts in here to make sure that your lips stay nourished. Let me show you guys what the actual bullet looks like up close here. So again, this is a concentrated, highly pigment, very lightweight feeling matte lipstick. This is a very silky texture. It glides on and it leaves really stunning color, and it does leave you with beautiful color in just one stroke. You guys will see that in the application. So again, you have things like wild mango butter in here, which help to restore dry and damaged lips. So you get this hydration at the same time that you get a matte finish. Again, this is formulated without any fragrance or talc. Again, it's cruelty-free. You really can just do one swipe and it just covers the lips and it looks stunning. I absolutely love this. Now, of course, I have tried using this directly from the bullet, and I've also tried using a lip brush for more precise application. Oftentimes, with more matte lipsticks like this, using a lip brush and taking your time to get a more detailed application isn't practical, because the matte lipsticks dry down so quickly that by the time you've kind of finished this side and you move on to this side, you're having a hard time moving the product around because it has such a quick dry down time. So it's you know, it's one of those things with a matte lipstick that you want to make sure you get a really good precise application on your first run, or you got to take it off and do it again. But this, I find, has a little bit of a playtime to it before it actually sets. But once it sets, it's not going anywhere. It doesn't come off. So I love that about this lipstick. It just stays put, it locks down, and once it's there, and you don't have to worry about it anymore. I love this shade. This is, again, the Aretha shade, and I'm going to be ordering a couple of more. These are $24 a piece. You do get a pretty decent amount in here. I love that it says UOMA on the actual bullet itself. It is a magnet, so I love that about it too, so you don't have to worry about it, the lid popping off, rolling around in your purse and getting gross little crumblies all inside of the bullet itself. It's just a sleek, beautiful lipstick, and it's a stunning formula. So I am going to be ordering a couple more of these. This is absolutely Erika approved. All right, guys, so overall, UOMA Beauty, you guys, I am so impressed with this brand. It's been a really long time since I've been able to say that this is something that has come along that is so different and so unique, and I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the brand. I'm excited about the concept. I love the performance of all of the products. The lipstick and the eyeshadow, I think, are the two products that absolutely blew me away. Now, the foundation, don't get me wrong, the foundation is stunning, you guys. I do love the way that it looks on my skin. It's very long lasting. This is a beautiful foundation, and I love that the ingredients are really specified to fit what issues your skin type tends to have. I think that's genius. The concealer itself is a beautiful formula, but it is really, really brightening. So I think anybody that struggles with really dark circles is really going to love this, and I can't wait to try a shade that's just a little bit darker for myself. So guys, everything that I tried is absolutely Erika approved. I absolutely encourage you guys to hop on their website, check out UOMA Beauty, and see what they have to offer. Find out what your skin kin group is, and see if there's any products in there that you guys would be interested in. I'm really excited about this brand. I can't wait to see what they have coming up in the future. I hope the brand itself does really good. You know, I wish the owner and the brand much love and a lot of luck on the launch, and I hope everything goes really, really well for you guys. Overall, this brand is stunning, so definitely go check them out. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I'm super curious to hear what you guys think about all of this. Have you heard of this brand? Are you gonna try something from them? I can't wait to see like what their powders and their mascaras. There's so many products that haven't been done that I really, really am looking forward to from this brand. So So, all right, guys, as always, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me via DM on Instagram at ErikaApproved. If you are new here, welcome. We're so glad that you stopped by. Don't forget to hit the subscription button on your way out. As always, guys, I hope all of you are very happy and very healthy, and I will see you guys in the next video. Mwah.